snake has taken a grave wound in battling the Stepstones.
Who will take the Driftwood throne?
The crown cannot stand strong if the House of the Dragon remains divided.
This is a matter of blood, not ambition.
This is a trap.
Nephews?
The threat of war looms.
Yeah, so I mean, episode 8, I guess. Cora, it's so funny. It's been so long as I've watched this so long ago, but Corlys Velaryon is sick, right? So
He's not sick. He's injured.
Oh, he injured. That's right.
Yes, and on the verge of death.
Death.
Yeah.
We can't. Our king is dying.
Yeah.
But Princess Rhaenys is kind of the success. Well, she's kind of in his place, right? Standing in his place.
Yeah, she's a stand-in ruler because she's the wife.
Yeah, it's so funny. It kind of reminds me of Cersei's, right? Just a stand-in ruler because I'm the king mother.
Well, not necessarily a stand-in. She sort of like, because technically the stand-in should have been
right?
the other queen.
Oh, the brother. No. Oh, you're talking about, I see, Marjorie and all of them.
Marjorie
right?
Tyrell, yeah.
Yeah, Marjorie Tyrell. She kind of wasn't she?
Because I think Cersei came to be the queen regent, right? She was regent queen.
Yeah.
But Marjorie Tyrell was like the future queen of Westeros.
Yeah.
Or is the queen of Westeros.
Yeah.
So technically she should have been in charge, but you know, she got offed by Cersei, and then Tommen offed himself in response. So that kind of just left Cersei to be the ruler. It wasn't really by like succession. It was just like she was the only one.
I think she was having a good time.
I think she wasn't having a good time. it was more like she was the only one left alive to rule King's Landing.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
is very, very Game of Thrones style.
Very Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you kill off all your political opponents.
Well, so I do recall in this episode, right, I guess the claim to Driftmark is in question because of all that stuff going on. So they all fly back to King's Landing, right? Daemon and Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra.
And then the entire Velaryon. And the entire Velaryon family.
That's right. Even the brother. We got to talk about the brother.
Yeah, the brother's one is the one questioning or challenging it, the status quo.
Yeah, I really like this episode. Honestly, not Game of Thrones, but House of the Dragon really kind of things ablaze. I feel like it hit the ground running pretty fast in comparison to Game of Thrones, where it was kind of like establishing. For the longest time, Game of Thrones, I could only get through the first 2 episods. And then once I got through that,
yeah, I think it's because the story is like is a lot shorter.
Yeah, that's true. You're talking about this story, right? This story, they have to accelerate everything.
Yeah, and I think it's also makes it a lot easier when you have you know the beginning, middle, and end already.
Yeah, that is true. Game of Thrones didn't know its ending.
Because the thing is, for Game of Thrones, it felt like the first season. Obviously, it was probably the slowest one because that was them establishing literally everything.
Yeah.
Right, like the lore, the world, all the different family houses and characters, and the significance of everything that's being shown. Actually, I think that's probably why House of Dragon is doing so well, is because all of that's already been established. From season
the
1.
world's been established, the houses have been established.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of recognize the name Targaryen already from the get-go.
Yeah.
Right, you know all about them through, like, whatever happened through Game of Thrones and all the backstory. And there's, like, a lot of different things that get inserted that are familiar, right? You run, like, for example, in some of the previous episodes of House of Dragon, you kind of run into familiar family names like Snow, the Lannisters, right? And then you hear like even older names that kind of made an appearance in the original show.
Hightower a name too? Well, Hightower was a name, right? Wasn't Hightower?
The Hightowers
weren't they?
Yeah, they were. They are a name. Yeah, but they didn't really play a big role in Game of Thrones. Or at least in the TV series. I don't know about the books.
I guess really in reality, Hightowers just became Targaryens after all that.
Nah, Targaryens.
No, they did, right? Like, I mean, well, the name that was still
no way, because everyone was talking
powerful.
about. Everyone talks about the Targaryens. No one talks about the
yeah, that's what I'm
Hightowers.
saying. It's like Alicent Hightower, even though she was a Hightower, essentially her heirs all became Targaryens anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, so not like Targaryens, they're just different.
No, I'm just saying that like the Targaryen name is a lot stronger because essentially through marriage, everyone's names just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, it's like how Corlys once said, "History doesn't remember blood; it remembers names."
No, so don't get married and don't be a woman. Crazy. But that was back then.
What are you
Different
talking
times. Different times.
Why are you talking about
just,
this?
No, just talking about names, and then of course you're being a woman back in the days. Like you can carry on the name. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Only males, only male heirs.
Unless you're a Targaryen.
Yeah. Then you got to keep it no matter what, or marry your cousin.
Then you carry it on regardless. Yeah.
Yeah. What was great was when they did arrive at King's Landing, and then when Rhaenyra does talk to Viserys, I thought it was really like it almost seemed like a Hail Mary pass, like a last ditch effort to kind of get Luke claim to the throne of Driftmark, right? He's like, hey, the king overrides everything.
Well, I don't think it's not Luke that inherits Driftmark. I think it's the younger brother Joffrey, right?
I don't think Joffrey is born yet, because there was only Luke and Viserys and Jaehaerys.
Oh,
yeah. There's only Jaehaerys and Viserys.
Oh,
right now.
Wait. How many kids are there?
There's 3, I think. I mean, it's been so long ago, but 3, and then I think Luke is supposed to claim Driftmark.
Wait, who's the oldest?
The oldest is Jaehaerys, because remember Jaehaerys is supposed to inherit the Iron Throne if Rhaenyra dies.
Well, okay, so Jaehaerys, Luke, and then Joffrey.
Yeah, Joffrey doesn't count for nothing.
Oh.
I don't even know what happens to Joffrey. But then there's also like Daemon's kids, right? Daemon and Rhaenyra's kids. I think they have about 2 of them as well.
Who's their kid?
So their kids are Aegon III and Viserys II. They took more traditional Valyrian names or Targaryen names. Because obviously there's the Aegon II, who is the current. Well, spoiler alert, because obviously episode 8 doesn't talk about it, but there's Aegon and Viserys, and those are the 3. Those are the 2 that they Daemon and Rhaenyra have together.
Gotcha. So Jaehaerys, Luke, Joffrey, Jaehaerys, Jace, Lucerys, Luke, and then Joffrey.
Right. And then Luke is supposed to get Driftmark because he's
the second oldest.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he also is the son of their first son, right? Who got burnt and is gone. Burnt.
Faked his death.
Faked his burning. But I did like how Rhaenyra was like kind of pleading. You kind of see her kind of slowly losing grasp of, like her inheritance and even control of the situation. And it's kind of unusual for me how the tides can always just change so quickly. Like it makes me kind of like a little bit uneasy and unsettled. Like, luckily we have a lot more specific rules, for governor and all this other stuff. It makes me feel a little bit more like, oh, okay, well, at least they're gonna be there for 4 terms, as opposed to like, oh, you may be the queen today, but you won't be the queen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Um, and then so they're celebrating, right? I forget. Oh, they're not celebrating. They're all questioning Luceri's
They're in the throne. Well, they're
sorry.
in the Red Keep, right?
Yeah,
And they're
exactly.
holding count. They're holding council with everyone because Corliss's brother is making claim about why he should keep or why he should inherit Driftmark.
Right. And he does a pretty decent job. I mean, kind of just says all the things
Well,
that
okay. Let me.
people are thinking.
Do you think he's doing this out of like own personal ambition, or do you think like he's just doing it purely for the sake of preserving his home?
I don't know. It's difficult because, I mean, of course, everyone has their own motivations, but I feel like at the end of it all, it's all about self preservation. Like, oh my God, like who are these outsiders that are all of a sudden like taking over like what's been in my family line for like years, centuries, blah blah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more of a case issue than really having like any problems with someone else taking the throne. I mean, it's like everybody, right? Like the only reason why everyone's fighting, like Renea and all of them, they all feel like it's rightfully theirs, and because of that, it creates these issues, right?
Well,
Alice,
Rhaenyra is because she's just worried about her children's legacy, right? Because like it calls into question the entire legitimacy of their birth,
right?
right? Because
Yeah,
that was like the biggest thing is like because obviously it's a big elephant in the room, and obviously they're not they're not of fully royal blood, right?
right. They're
They're
partial royal blood,
huh?
and then they're partial royal blood, and then of course they're
Well, because
faking
they're
something off.
they're the offspring, they're bastard children essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, she's denying it, and she doesn't want that to be called into question because they lose everything.
I know. I really do like I like the comments that they say about like strong boys, like strong. It's like it's such a play on like the name itself, but
Yeah, it's
don't know.
intentional to like kind of poke them.
Right. Hoop the bear. In this scene, right at the Red Keep, I feel like the two most impactful scenes were, Viserys coming down, right?
Oh,
Coming down.
that was epic.
Dude, yeah, heart fluttering, like making me like chicken skin. Oh wow, this is pretty impressive.
It's like, oh yeah, chicken skin. Yeah, good.
Yeah, chicken.
Moving on.
Chicken soup for the soul. Yeah. So I mean, they played that scene so well, where he kind of, because he's obviously suffering and he's on milk of the poppy, and you're just seeing him like talking circles, like, oh my goodness.
Well, it's interesting because like we see him in the beginning, like he had no interest left in ruling the kingdom.
Yeah, not at all, right?
Because
Like,
he's in pain. He's dying.
Right.
Yeah, the leprosy is eating him alive. His eyeball
That's
fell out.
definitely I know. That is definitely not a way I would like to go. But luckily, leprosy is kind of dormant these days. So,
well, we have a better understanding of how to treat leprosy.
Yeah, and keep people away from one another. I'm surprised because when I learned in Hawaiian history about leprosy, because they had that island, Leopard Island, I thought it was highly contagious by touch.
Yeah.
So what the heck's going on when King Viserys just like leprosying people around? Like, here you go.
It's a fantasy show.
Okay. It will not spread. It's a fantasy show. Leprosy works different in the Game of Thrones. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, when everyone kept saying leprosy, I was thinking to myself like, oh, isn't leprosy pretty highly contagious? Like, all you got to do is hang out with a couple leopards, and I think
I don't know exactly how it transmits, but yeah, that's what
I tried to look it up one day, and then I kind of forgot. So
anyway, you forgot. You said.
Yeah, I did forget. And then he came. But he came through the throne room, all like kind of like high strung, like walking with his cane, like and then like he didn't want the help. But what was neat was, I mean, this is kind of like a side scene that was pretty impactful. But he drops his crown, right, and then Damon kneels and then gives him back his crown, and I thought that was also very touching. I was like, oh
Yeah, let's talk about that.
wow,
And it's very
I mean,
symbolic, and it
yeah,
was improv, right?
oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember in the interviews they said that they didn't write that in the script.
Yeah, but Damon was like, oh, I mean, Matt Damon thought that was
His name isn't Matt Damon.
I know. Matt Smith.
Yeah. I mean, you should know better than me. I mean, you watched Doctor Who.
I know Matt. Well, because we were saying Damon's name for so long, and then it's like Matt.
Yeah. Matt, Mr.
Smith Damon.
Mr. Damon. Mr. Damon.
Matt Smith.
You can't get it wrong, right?
Matt Smith being the class actor.
Yeah, he is a class actor. They were saying that a lot of people are getting pointers from him specifically. Probably not the older actors, but they said all the younger actors, like all the girls and everybody. Like he was really mentoring, when it came to everything.
Great. Yeah.
Great. Good for you. Woo!
But no, it was just really good because it kind of I mean, obviously it solidifies his the image that Damon's completely accepted his brother as the king, right?
Yeah. That's right.
But I feel like it kind of completes his character arc or his entire cycle of character growth.
Kind of like immature and kind of like and acceptance and finally giving in to his brother being the king.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows a more human side to him, starting like compared, which is like a stark contrast to when we first get introduced to him in the first episode.
Right. Yeah. His growth is incredible. I think he's written as a really really strong transition character.
It kind of reminds me a lot of like Jaime
Vegeta.
Lannister.
Oh, Jaime Lannister, yes.
Yeah, like his character growth, starting from being this arrogant royal person, royalty guy, right, who thinks he's above everyone, then goes through this progression. He gets humbled along the way, and then comes back down to terms with himself, and then becomes a decent human being in the end.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah,
but I do feel like he's still I guess Jaime Lannister was a strong character. I think when they cut his hand, I was like, oh, that was a heavy handicap because he was a swordsman, But he's still one of the best of them, which was kind of nice.
He is he's still considered one of the best swordsmen in King's Landing.
Yeah, those skills are really awesome. Like to think, because even Daemon is a good swordsman too, right?
So
he's not a whole army by himself.
He's a great leader. I'll say that. He was still getting beat up though. Jeez, like
he was like 20-1. He was like,
that was kind of outrageous,
unrealistic. Yeah.
I mean, there were arrows flying at him. It's like you have 1,000 of them, and not one's gonna hit you in that entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, other than that, yeah, it was a great. He's a really good good leader, which makes him an effective soldier, effective at war.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of excited to see like him showing off his leadership skills again in the near future.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely show up. Well, and then so for you, I know your perception of Viserys. Did you think this was a bold act for King Viserys and how he kind of mustered his energy to sit on the throne and kind of set things straight?
Did I what?
Like, did you think of him as a stronger king? Because you know how we always joke around or say that he's a weak king, right? Do you feel like in this moment he was like a strong king, standing up and kind of solidifying Viserys' claim to the throne?
I think that he's at least knows how he wants his reign to end. He may not have. I don't think he necessarily knew how he wanted his entire kingship to be played out, but he definitely knew like how he wanted his reign to end, which is to have his legacy be passed down to his daughter instead of his own, son.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
I think it's like a part of him, felt really, I feel like a part of him felt pretty guilty about accepting the crown, right? Yeah. Considering that the other person, other candidate was his cousin, Rhaenys, who, I mean, it seemed like they had a good relationship.
Yeah, I think so.
And it doesn't seem like they have any hatred toward each other, which is, great. Yeah. Right? Rhaenys doesn't feel any contempt to Viserys for taking the crown, or for winning the crown over her.
Yeah, and right? She really didn't contest anything, right?
Well, I mean, I guess there was. I don't know about the contention, but yeah, she didn't put any contempt towards him. And then Viserys, I feel like he feels somewhat guilty.
Right.
Because he didn't want the crown, but he had to take it because that's what was expected of him. And here's his cousin who who is ambitious enough to want the crown and probably would have been a really good, effective leader.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think like a part of him giving the crown to Rhaenyra, right, instead of his biological son, was more of him like kind of making things up. I mean, also I think he just wanted to. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know why he chose Rhaenyra, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, yeah, you can say like, oh yeah, she's a good character, and she'd be a strong leader and all that stuff.
Wasn't she his only heir? And he wasn't expecting to have any more kids because he wasn't going to fall in love again. And I think that's why at that moment, he announced her as, the next line of succession.
Yeah, but the thing is, he had the option to change.
Oh, he did?
He had the opportunity to revoke her legacy and give it to his son, Aegon. His son. Yeah, because that was the pressure from the small council was to, they understood, like they were saying, like, okay, so Otto Hightower and his and the members of the small council are all saying, like, yeah, okay, we understand. Viserys, made Rhaenyra the heir because she was the only surviving kid at the time. So yeah, it made sense, right? For continuity of the Targaryen line, she had to become heir. But now Viserys is married to Alicent and they have a child together, Aegon.
I wonder if like he felt that,
but he didn't.
His wife wasn't. Well, maybe because his wife wasn't a Targaryen, that it wasn't like a pure bloodline.
No, it's got nothing to do with that. Alicent, I mean, even though Alicent is not a Targaryen, her children are Targaryens because they have literally his blood in their veins. Like they're their biological son. Viserys and Aegon is a biological descendant of Viserys.
Wow.
So, and he's a male, right? Because like that was a whole point of episode 3, which was, Rhaenyra thinking, oh, my father's going to, announce that she's no longer the heir.
That's what she thought, and I think like deep down she kind of wanted that too a little bit. She was like,
no, she wanted the throne. She definitely wanted the throne.
I mean, later, but I mean,
right now. It was only later on she started to think, oh, maybe I don't want it.
Are you talking about when she was an adult or when she was a kid?
Yeah, when she was an adult.
Oh, you're talking about when, at which moment?
Well, we only see the moment until we start seeing it more clearly when, in this particular episode, when she's talking to her father.
Right. Yeah, she's like, why are we doing this? Do you believe in the Song of Ice and Fire? What's going on? Poor thing. Such a hard life.
Yeah, hard life.
Hard life. Well, and then that's what kind of spurs up to the real big shocking moment, I think, was, of course, when Corlys's brothers get sliced in half. His brother gets sliced in half.
Yeah, for heresy.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of like very just like charged, like getting so upset, like, and you could feel the tension building, and then cut his, keep his tongue, right? Because even Viserys like, I will have your tongue. He's all like, because the king, whatever the king says, right, is rule. But he does get off Milk of the Poppy. They have a really nice dinner. He takes off his mask. Looks like
you like saying Milk of the Poppy, don't you?
I do. It's like it's so fun. It's like saying Milk of Magnesia. I love it.
What's Milk of Magnesia?
You know what Milk of Magnesia is?
No.
It's for your stomach, to settle your stomach, I think.
Wow.
Prevent diarrhea or something like that.
That's
Then they have the dinner, right? And then the dinner happens.
that was like a Last Supper kind of thing.
The Last Supper. It was seemingly so. It was like a Last Supper. All the cousins, all the brothers, the nephews, the uncles, all get together, ready to duke it out.
Yeah, I felt super bad for Viserys because like that was his final moment, or that was his last good memory.
Yeah. But they were all willing to come together. It's funny because I do think about my family too. It's like, if my mom were to ever pass away, like, would me and my brothers still be close? Like, would we, fight over things? Like, would we do this and that? Does it really matter? There's a lot of that kind of goes on.
Well, it's like it was a great memory for him because like, everyone's laughing, everyone's together. There's music, there's dancing.
Doesn't Renea also offer to have one of her sons get married to someone over there?
Yeah, to the Driftmark, to the Valarians.
That's all.
That was the deal that Rhaenyra made with Rhaenys, right? To get their elite, to get her.
What about Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about when they were in the small council room, and the small council is where Rhaenyra offers Lady Hightower her sons, right?
Yeah, that was her trying to negotiate with her.
Yeah, and I remember Viserys like, that is such a blessed idea. What a great offering. That is so wonderful.
Why is that funny?
No, because it's like, it's like he's just trying to like smooth things over and just be like, can't we just all get along kind of deal? And we're like, hell, motherfucker, no.
No, everyone was trying to get along. What are you talking about?
I mean,
it was only what's his name? Aemond.
Oh yeah, Aemon Targaryen.
It was only that Aemon that was, continuously stoking the
trying to get
resentment towards each other.
Riled up, get them angry.
Yeah.
And then, Viserys starts feeling down. Milk of the Poppy wearing off. Time to go back.
Okay, I don't think he's not on Milk of the Poppy the entire episode. He was not on Milk of the Poppy the entire episode.
No, at the throne room and the dinner. Then he goes back, right? And then, but doesn't... Oh, she does, and Alicent does feed him Milk of the Poppy eventually, right?
Well, yeah, when he's sleeping, because he's in pain.
Yeah.
Not during the day, though, because it makes you drowsy and it makes your mind clouded.
Yeah, his mind was kind of clouded. But they do decide to leave King's Landing, I think, that night.
Who?
Rhaenyra and Daemon, them. They decide to leave. They don't stay long, right? King's Landing. That's why they end up back at Dragonstone.
Sure, I guess. I mean, that's not really that important.
I mean, it's not important, but I mean, they decide to leave.
Well, okay, that's irrelevant because afterwards, all of that, right? The big thing is revealed is Viserys kind of screws up the entire situation at the very end. Like he undoes pretty much everything he does accidentally.
Oh, yeah, because of Milk of the Poppy.
It wasn't because of Milk of the Poppy.
He was like, oh,
he was dreaming.
He thought he was talking to Rhaenyra.
Yeah, because he was dreaming. He was in pain. He was delirious. Not because of the Milk of the Poppy.
I'm pretty sure it was Milk of the Poppy.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, he was delirious, and he literally mixes things up, or he confuses Alicent, thinking that he's talking about their son, Aegon.
Right.
and about the dagger.
Aegon's prophecy. Yeah, that gets really confusing. That's a lesson learned. Don't name all your kids the same name as your grandfather's fathers and father's sons and sons and daughters. Because then prophecies are confusing at that point. But I was bringing up that when Renee and them did leave, if they had stayed, they would have known that he had passed, and then they would have been able to act accordingly. But because they had already gone to...
How would they have been... What would have been them acting accordingly to that? What does that mean?
Like the same thing like Otto Hightower, where like they all just like, they were the first to know, so they shut everything out. And, well, I mean, that's spoilers for the next episode. But, like if they had stayed, I feel like they could have been like, oh, hey, we got Daemon here, we have Renee here, we have everybody, I don't think it would have changed anything. You don't think that they would have crowned
them being
Renee
there, them remaining in King's Landing? I don't think it would have changed anything that happened afterwards.
Okay.
Because it's like Alicent's the one that's confused, thinking, okay, well, I got to put my son on the Iron Throne now. Like, I really have to put him on the Iron Throne because, the king wants it to be.
Right. Yeah.
And so she consults with her father, right? Later in the future episode, spoilers.
We're already talking about episode 9.
No. We're not talking about episode 9.
Episode
but
9.
I mean, honestly, I don't think them remaining in the castle would have changed any of that.
Maybe not. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's not history, right? It's not Game of Thrones history or how the dragon.
What are they gonna do? What is Rhaenyra gonna do? Like reveal the big secret of the Targaryen line?
She would have at least like.
No.
Sept would be there. Everybody would be there.
No.
Be like, hey.
No, because the only one that knows the truth.
I'm gonna be
the only one that knows the truth is her.
Who? Hightower or Rhaenyra?
No, Rhaenyra.
But
she's
I mean, Rhaenyra was already told to be queen.
She's the only one that knows the truth of it.
Yeah,
but no one else.
I'm just saying in terms of...
It doesn't matter what the truth is. I'm just saying she's the only one that knows the truth, but it's irrelevant.
It's not about the truth. It's about the process of succession, right? All the
No,
lore.
It's not about that at all. It's about perception.
I mean, no, but in a real life scenario, in their scenario,
in a real life scenario, it's not about. It's about perception. That's all it is.
Right, but I mean, didn't she have like all the lords had sworn to Rhaenyra to have?
Yeah, but none of them support her.
Yeah, but I mean,
only in the surface. But
nobody supported Trump, but they still had to do the law. He still had to be president.
What do you mean no one supported? I don't. What? I'm so confused.
I mean, like essentially, it's like when you're set in a position, like it's the same thing with the military. When you're set in a position, you're in a position of power. Like nobody can take that away from you.
No, the military is different because you respect. I feel like in the military, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Is like you respect the rank, not necessarily the person.
Yeah, I mean, that's why. In terms
of politics is not the same thing.
No, but in terms of succession, Rhaenyra was to be the
in name only, but she didn't have any support.
I mean, she didn't.
No. No, it's not enough. It doesn't make a difference. Alicent's the one and the Hightowers are the ones that hold all of the political power. They rule King's Landing.
But just because they're there.
Well, they're there and they made alliances, and they have alliances with all of these small lords and stuff.
Just like chess.
Yeah, Viserys. I mean, Rhaenyra doesn't have any of that.
I mean, she has Daemon.
Daemon has literally no one himself.
No, poor thing. I mean, it's weird because him as a brother, right? It's same thing as Corlys Valerian's brother. It's like, sorry, man, you're just a brother.
Yeah, youngest sons have nothing. They have no power.
Yeah, second and youngest sons, nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
the only power they have is in their name, Targaryen, but that's about it.
But it really doesn't mean anything. I wonder. I think to myself how the royal family actually works. Like, are they like, yeah, you don't get any say, but you could be my cupbearer.
Yeah, look at Look at you can look at the current monarchs, right? Like for example, England's new king.
Yeah, yeah.
They have no political power.
Are they just figureheads too?
Yeah.
Well,
But the royalty.
This is where things set into motion and the dance of the dragons begins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like how they ended the episode with him taking his last breath and then fading to black. I was like, you could just feel him dying. That was not fun.
Okay. Well, this turned depressing.
Well, I mean, that's how the episode ended.
No, it ended on a very like dramatic note.
Yeah, dramatic.
Not depressing.
You don't think dramatic and depressing is the same?
No.
Okay. Well, that's how it ended.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, overall, this episode, I think, was a really good build-up for what's to come. I mean, I think out of, like, me just having seen the whole season, this was probably the best episode by far for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Good to know.
Mine was the previous one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Episode 7?
Mm-hmm.
It's so long ago. I'm trying. Like, what happened at episode?
That was literally just. that was the Lanera's funeral.
Oh, right. I guess so. There was tensions.
Lena's funeral. Sorry.
Yeah,
not
Lena's.
Lanera.
There was tensions. Tensions were high.
It was very, very good.
Everyone was saying that actually. I forget his real name, but crazy. Patty Constantine. Yeah, yes. Patty Constantine. They said that he actually will probably win an Emmy for it.
For House of the Dragon?
For episode 8.
I see.
Yeah, that was what was said in a lot of the stuff. They should give him an Emmy.
They say that for everybody in Game of Thrones.
I mean, but most people get Emmys from Game of Thrones.
Who got an Emmy for Game of Thrones?
Everybody. Hold on, let's see. Okay, Outstanding Drama Series, Supporting Actress.
Kit Harington got an Emmy for it.
Let me see if Kit did. I don't know if Kit did.
I can imagine Lena Headey receiving an Emmy.
Oh, he did. He got it for 2019, and then he got it for 2016. Oh, he was just nominated. He didn't win.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, folks.
What a gaslighter.
Gaslighting all day, every day. Who actually won then? Let's see how many Emmys they won.
Okay.
I know they took home a lot. Game of Thrones was taking like
the show itself, I can imagine.
Dude, they had 160 nominations, 59 Emmy wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So, Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series, Peter Dinklage.
Oh yeah, Lena Headey. Also, I don't think she won an Emmy from.
They were all nominated.
Their nominations.
Yeah, they're all.
She received 5 Primetime Emmy Award nominations and a Golden Globe Award nomination.
Oh, but no winnings. Wow, you can win a lot of Emmys. Title design, visual effects, outstanding coordination from a drama series, composition for a series.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think
nobody won.
I guess not. Ha!
I guess not. Only Peter Dinklage won twice.
For Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, I mean he was good. He fit the show so well. He was nominated. Everybody was nominated. Poor thing. Nobody, even Maisie Williams, all of them. I wonder what it's like. You're just standing there thinking you're gonna win because you have the best TV show of all time, and then you lose.
Isn't the winner announced like notified ahead of time?
Look at 2015. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, maybe during COVID, because then they
Oh.
would have to say something unless they want genuine reactions. But it looks like only Peter Dinklage won Emmys. He got 3 of them. Everyone else was nominated.
Wow.
Sad.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, goes to show.
Goes to show when you're great, you're great. Yeah, I'm already at 2013. All right. Well, that's all the time we got, folks. Let us know what you thought about episode 8. Make sure to like and subscribe and drop a message and see if Jeremy knows his Game of Thrones trivia.
Yeah.
Okay.